He walks alone through a forest where nothing grows anymore. The sky above him burns in violent shades of red, as if the world itself feels the pressure he carries. On his back rests a massive cracked stone cube, heavy and unforgiving. Red energy seeps from its fractures, spreading into his shoulders like fire through dry wood. Each step is slow, not because he is weak, but because the weight was never meant for one man. This stone is built from expectations, from silent demands, from words like be strong, do more, don't fail. The crows watch from twisted branches. The fog rolls across the ground like doubt creeping into the mind. No one sees how deep the cracks go. No one hears the quiet strain in his breathing. He never chose this burden. He simply accepted it, again and again. And now the cube feels fused to his spine, as if removing it would tear him apart. This is what happens when responsibility becomes identity, when pressure becomes permanent, when a man forgets what it feels like to walk freely, without the weight of the world pressing down on his soul. He kneels in an empty wasteland beneath a crimson sky that refuses to calm. In his arms rests a giant broken marble statue. Faint words are carved into its surface: approval, acceptance, validation. The statue is cracked from the inside, glowing red like lightning trapped in stone. It was never solid to begin with. It was fragile, just like the need to be liked by everyone. He tried to become what they wanted, different faces for different people, softer, stronger, quieter, louder, whatever was required. Every time he reshaped himself, another fracture appeared in the marble. Every compromise chipped away at his own foundation. The ravens circle above, silent witnesses to his exhaustion. The cold mist creeps around him like loneliness disguised as loyalty. Pleasing everyone felt noble at first. It felt like kindness. It felt like maturity. But slowly it became suffocating, because the more he held on to their approval, the less he held on to himself. And now he kneels, not because he is defeated, but because carrying everyone's opinion has finally bent his spine. Approval is heavy, especially when it costs you your own truth. A thick blue fog surrounds him, swallowing the world in silence. The air feels cold, lifeless. On his back rests a massive concrete slab, split by glowing red cracks that pulse like an exhausted heartbeat. Each crack represents a moment he gave too much, a time he listened when no one listened back, a time he absorbed pain that wasn't his. He stands, but barely. The dead trees twist around him like memories of conversations where he stayed silent just to keep peace. Blackbirds sit motionless, watching. They do not judge. They simply observe. The sky above is red and black, like a storm that never breaks. The pressure builds, but never releases. He thought strength meant endurance. He thought being emotionally available meant carrying everything without complaint. But emotional weight does not disappear. It accumulates. It settles into the spine. It tightens around the chest. It drains color from the world. And now he feels hollow. Not broken, just empty. Because when you keep pouring into others without refilling yourself, eventually there's nothing left to give. And the heaviest burden of all is pretending you are not tired. He bends forward under the weight of an ancient stone monument chained to his shoulders. The chains dig deep into his skin, glowing red where pressure meets flesh. Above him, the crimson sky swirls like a storm that refuses to end. He was always the kind one, the understanding one, the forgiving one. When others were harsh, he stayed gentle. When others walked away, he stayed loyal. When others hurt him, he stayed silent. Kindness felt powerful at first. It felt like strength to absorb anger without returning it. But kindness without boundaries becomes self-destruction. The monument on his back is built from every time he ignored his own pain to protect someone else's feelings. Every time he said, "It's okay," when it wasn't. The silhouettes of birds crossed the sky like passing warnings he never listened to. He thought being good meant enduring everything. He thought patience meant never saying enough. Now the weight forces him to his knees. Because kindness is beautiful, but when it costs your dignity, it becomes a burden no soul was designed to carry. He walks through a cracked desert landscape where the earth itself looks broken. On his back are multiple heavy stone blocks stacked high, each glowing faint red from inside. Each block carries a different story, someone else's failure, someone else's responsibility, someone else's emotional chaos. He said yes when he should have stepped back. He helped when he was already exhausted. He carried problems that were never his to solve. The red storm clouds above swirl violently, as if mirroring the pressure inside his mind. Black crows circle overhead, patient and silent. He believed love meant support without limits. He believed strength meant never refusing. But slowly the blocks grew heavier, the stack grew taller, and his own needs were buried beneath everyone else's expectations. The desert stretches endlessly ahead. Because when you carry other people's burdens for too long, you forget where your own path was leading. And one day you realize you are not walking toward your dreams anymore. You are simply surviving under the weight of theirs. He stands alone in a dead forest at sunset, holding a massive glowing red stone above his shoulders. The veins of light spread into his arms, burning through muscle and bone. No one applauds him. No one thanks him. No one even notices. Sacrifice is quiet. It does not demand attention. It simply gives and gives and gives. The twisted black trees surround him like witnesses who cannot speak. Fog covers the forest floor, hiding how much he trembles. He has always been the strong one, the reliable one, the one who shows up no matter what. But strength without rest becomes suffering. The stone grows hotter in his hands. His arms shake, yet he refuses to drop it, because somewhere along the way, he believed his value came from how much he could endure. He confuses silence with resilience. He confuses exhaustion with loyalty. But even the strongest shoulders were not built to carry fire forever. And silent sacrifice, when unrecognized, slowly turns into invisible pain. Chains wrap tightly around his body, connecting him to a gigantic cracked stone block on his back. Red lightning spreads across its surface like anger trapped inside. The sky burns blood red above him. Ravens sit quietly on broken branches, watching a loyalty that has turned into imprisonment. He stayed when others left. He defended people who doubted him. He protected bonds that were already breaking. Loyalty felt honorable. It felt like integrity. But loyalty without mutual respect becomes self-betrayal. Each crack in the stone represents a warning he ignored. Each chain represents a boundary he refused to set. He told himself, "I can handle it." He told himself, "It will get better." But sometimes staying is not strength. Sometimes staying is fear of letting go. The block presses harder against his spine, and he begins to understand being loyal should never mean losing yourself. Because when devotion becomes one-sided, it stops being love and starts becoming a cage. In his hands rests a massive stone heart made of cracked marble. Red light escapes from its fractures like a pulse slowly fading. He walks through fog alone, carrying the very symbol of his generosity. He gave time, he gave energy, he gave forgiveness, he gave second chances. Every piece he offered felt noble, it felt right. But no one warned him that even hearts made of stone can break. The black birds move chaotically above him, as if sensing the collapse within. The crimson sky burns with intensity, but he feels cold. Because when you give too much without receiving balance, your heart begins to fracture quietly. Not loudly, not dramatically, just slowly. He told himself love required sacrifice. He believed generosity would be returned. But the more he poured out, the emptier he became. Now the stone heart grows heavier in his hands, and he realizes giving should never mean draining your own life force. He begins to collapse under a giant cracked stone wall leaning against his back. Red energy spreads from the fractures into the ground, like pressure leaking into the earth itself. The twisted trees stand in silhouette against a darkening sky. Ravens remain still, almost solemn. He cannot hold it much longer. The expectations were subtle at first, small requests, minor responsibilities. But over time, they multiplied. Be successful, be dependable, be strong, be perfect. The wall grew, brick by brick. And he kept holding it, because letting it fall felt like failure. Now his knees tremble, his breathing grows shallow. The sky fades deeper into darkness, reflecting the exhaustion within him. He understands something painful. No one noticed how heavy it was becoming, because he never said it was too much. And expectations, when unspoken, become silent weights that crush from the inside out. He is chained to a colossal, cracked stone pillar, glowing with lava-like red light. The pillar stands tall behind him like a monument of obligation. The chains are not physical alone. They are built from guilt, from responsibility, from fear of disappointing others. He mistakes endurance for honor. He mistakes captivity for commitment. The sky burns violently above him. Birds circle, restless. He serves expectations like commands. He answers demands like duties. He believes this is strength, but emotional slavery is subtle. It whispers, "You owe them." It whispers, "Without you, everything will fall apart." So he stays bound, even when it drains him, even when it suffocates him, because breaking the chains feels selfish. Yet deep inside he knows love does not imprison, responsibility does not erase identity, and loyalty should never require losing your freedom. He is half sunken into the fog-covered ground, holding a massive cracked stone slab above his head. Red lightning fractures illuminate his fading silhouette. The sky is apocalyptic. Dark clouds swirl as if the world senses the final breaking point. He has carried so much that the earth itself seems to pull him downward. The slab blocks the sky, blocks the light, blocks possibility. He breathes heavily. For the first time, he questions everything. Who asked him to carry it? Who demanded he suffer silently? Who decided his worth depended on endurance? The ravens sit quietly in the dead trees. And in this moment, clarity arrives. He was never meant to hold the world alone. He was never meant to become a monument of pain. The ground continues pulling, but something inside him shifts. Because sometimes the strongest act is not holding the weight. It is letting it fall and choosing to rise without it.